A15 engine. Really heavy flywheel. Really heavy flywheel. How heavy you say? A15s have renowned to have a fairly heavy flywheel, but holy cow, that's 9 kilos. Today we're going to go and see somebody special, who, if you're a bit of a Datsun guy in this area, he's a bit of a guru, and his name is Stuart Wilkins. But we're going to go and see him about some pistons for the A15 and something to do with that. And where's my pointer at the moment? Some other guys have got it. And a cam. And we'll show him the head too. All right, here we go. So what do we have here? We've got an A15, which is the big block, with an H89 head, which is a standard A15, but apparently it's the head to have. That's the good one, the oval port. And this one happens to have quad throttle bodies and fuel injection. Okay, so here's the plan. What we're going to do is put all of this and the Haltech 550 and the extractors, which are here, onto the A12. The A12 is a very good engine. The car only had 49,000 Ks on it when I got it. It's got about 56 on it now because I just drive it everywhere. I'm going to have to not drive it for a little while we're doing this, but that's the plan. So the motor's really good. I've noticed I've done a couple of oil changes to it, as you do. First one I got it, then another after 5,000 I gave it another oil change. The oil, like I did it maybe a month ago, the oil just looks like you put it in yesterday, so it's just a really good little motor. This one is an unknown quantity. As far as I know, it's a bog standard A15, which means they have a big heavy flywheel on it. Well, this one doesn't, but normally they do. And 8.5:1 compression. So, from doing a bit of research, I find that an A15 is actually a stroked A14. And they put the gudgeon pin heights different on the A14 to the A15. So apparently the hot setup is you get A14 pistons, flat tops, and machine a bit off the top. I don't know yet how much, but we can find that out. And it bumps it up to about 10.5:1 compression. So the plan is to pull this apart and then put the pistons in, balance everything. We'll take the cam out hopefully today and send it over to Calford in New Zealand. They can grind us up 192 grind that they do, which is pretty cool, on those little cams, and then send it back to us, and then we'll balance everything and get the pistons in, and maybe, boy, I don't know, we'll have a look inside of it and see what the story is inside. And later on down the track, this will go in instead of the A12. So that's the plan. Wish me luck. As in, I've never done this before, so we'll learn as we go. GPS, temp sensor. Here's our choke. It just cracks them just a bit. Look at that. Off, on. All right, let's rip all this crap off. And there she is, folks, the famed H89. I hope it is called an H89 because I've been calling it that all the way through. Oval port head. Those ports are really clean. Somebody's had a tickle up on this already. What's next? Let's have a look at the exhaust ports. Square, square. A little bit of carbon build-up in the exhausts, the exhaust ports. It looks to be in really good nick. I got this engine from, I think, in South Australia when I first bought the Sunny truck over in Japan. So this has been sitting like this for 3 years. I had this for 2 years before we even got the Sunny truck out of Japan. This head is too clean. I think it's been tickled up. But yeah, the story with it was, old mate whose name I can't remember now, how rude. It was 3 years ago. He was getting, he had this particular engine, A15, which is written right there, in not a Sunny truck, in a Datsun 1200 Ute, and he was taking it out to put in, I think, a CA18 turbo, and basically he took it out with everything and sent it to me. I bought it off him. So yeah, I don't know anything about it apart from the head looks really good. I'd say it's at least had a head recondition. I think the ports look port matched to me. You can feel down the side, it's very smooth near the end, and it starts to get a little rougher on the inside there, so might be in luck. Right, I don't know if I actually have to do this, but I've seen people do it on YouTube shows, and they kind of know what they're doing, so, and I don't. Gasket looks new. Shh, don't tell Elliot. Definitely been, I think whoever owned this before me, and I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name. Look at that, that's too clean. That's had a head job. Lucky it. This is looking extremely good, boys and girls. I think this motor has been reconditioned fairly recently. Interesting to get the sump off and have a look at the bearings. 608. There's not much carbon on the pistons either. Like I'm just rubbing it off with my fingers off the top of that one. Is there one that gets sort of cops a bit more flack than the others on these? I don't know. 2605. Some of these slight, very slight discrepancies could be my measurement too, the way I'm measuring it. As I said, it's the first time I've ever done this. Measuring the bores, they're within 0.04 of a millimetre. So what's this? Tenths 100, so 4 100ths of a millimetre. Bottom, middle, top, linear and a crossways. So as I was saying before, engines, because your crank's going like that, well, we're looking at it that way, your crank's going around like that, so there's a sideways action on the pistons, so they tend to, your piston slap, so they tend to go this way. These bores are bang on, so either this motor has done no work or it's a fairly recent reco, which is good. So next thing now is to get the cam out. Now the cam we're going to take out, and that is going over to Kelford Cams in New Zealand, and they're going to grind me up what's called a 92 grind, and combined with the Doughty throttle bodies, we might even double the power to like from 20 kilowatts to 40. Here we are on our way out to Stuart Wilkins Motorsport. He's found some A14 pistons for me for my A15. Why A14, you might ask? Same bore. The A15 is basically a stroked A14. So, and they run, the problem with the A15 is, well, that 9.1 kilogram flywheel for a start, but they only run 8.5 to 1 compression. So the trick is to get A14 pistons, which have a different gudgeon height, and machine about 2.5 millimeters off the top of them, which brings you up around 10 to 1 compression. And I'm going to see him about a camshaft as well. He says he's got a pretty good grind for these sort of things. So yeah, if you want your Datsun bits, or like brilliantly built engines and stuff like that, not like mine's going to be fairly slapped together because I'm not actually a mechanic, but I'm just a really enthusiastic onlooker. We'll throw this thing together with some bits and pieces and see how we go from there. I'm actually taking the head out as well so we can check it out. I'm not, because it's obviously been ported. I don't know whether the valve springs are standard or I've got no idea. So yeah, that's where we're on our way to now, and we'll be there in about 40 minutes. Hear that diff? When you're on, it's fine. When you're off, it's fine. When you're doing the So we got some lash there, but I'm trying to get a limited slip diff for it. I wonder if Stuart would have something that lying around his shop. Probably not, back tending to sign off fairly quickly. Our choice is that or a Cusco MZ or RS. Now the RS is, well, the MZ's fairly aggressive. We've got an MZ in the van, and we're trying to make this civilised, but it does need a limited slip diff. It's even the 1.2 power is on wet roads, spinning the inside wheel, and gravel and wet grass, it'll spin the wheels too. But we're going to need it once we put the bigger engine in. Definitely need it then. Hear that drone at 100? So like I get up, go a little bit over there. That's been 110, I've been under 110. Get back to 100 and we're back in drone zone. Anyway. Yeah, maybe put a resonator in the exhaust or something. As I was saying, yeah, we're going to need to put a limited slip diff in it. I figure that, you know, once we get the carbies, once we got the fuel injection on and the quad throttle bodies and extractors and everything, and the cammed high compression A15 in it, it should be quite a fun little thing. I have beached it going up driveways on an angle a couple of times already, where it picks up the inside wheel and just dangles it in the air. Same problem we had with the Suzuki van. But yeah. So I'm thinking a Cusco RS. The problem with that is there's a 3-month wait for them. Sorry, 3-month wait for them. So anyway, onward and upward. So I went out to see Stuart today, Stuart Wilkins, out at Stuart Wilkins Motorsport. He's a fun guy to talk to. And we talked about various subjects: compression, flywheels, pistons, valve springs, heads, A-series stuff. One of us knew what they were talking about, and it wasn't me. Anyway, what he's organised for me is a 14 pistons. Now, an A15 piston, A15's are known for having low compression, 8.5 to 1 standard, and a big heavy flywheel. That's what they are. So, just so you know what I'm talking about, here is our A15 piston. Note the big dish that it has in it. Okay, so, which is all well and good. So what you do is, because an A15 is basically just a stroked A14, so they have the same bore. So what you do is you get A14 pistons, which are these ones here. Note they don't have the big dish. Now the problem is that the A14 pistons have a different, I better not drop these, it's going to swear at me, different gudgeon height. So, hang on, where's my pointer? Different gudgeon height. So, what we have to do is we have to machine 2.5 millimeters off the top of this piston, which will make it a nice flat top, and bump the compression up to, I don't know, I'm hoping around 10 to 1, thereabouts, because that's half of the difference between an A15 and an A14, apparently. That's the difference. So, yeah, so these are the guys here that we've got 4 set of rings as well over there. So, yeah, happy boy. So, we're going to have to fire it up. I'm not sure whether to do it in the lathe. I won't machine the top yet, or the mill, which you could do on the rotary table too. But and it's probably a little bit more accurate than a lathe. So yeah, we've got to figure out how to machine it, but we'll figure out how to do that as we go. So things have begun, and there's all this stuff here to go. Like there's extractors, and you know the throttle bodies are all over in there, and there's good stuff. We've got some good stuff for this one. Yeah. So okay, cool. That's it for today. I'm out of here. While I think of it, the other thing that Stuart did say was getting standard size A14 pistons was a bit of a job. But he got him though. He's a very clever guy. So yeah, thanks Stewie.